A roller coaster of temperature changes has Valley citrus growers struggling to harvest. Channel 5's Cecilia Gutierrez spoke to citrus growers about how the recent weather changes are affecting the crops this year.
From cold fronts to rain and even snow this season has been anything but normal. This has some growers concerned. Hector Perez manages a small grove out of San Carlos. He says the recent cold snaps and snow affected his harvest.
Well, that day we didn't harvest for about 2 days because it was pretty wet. If it rains, you can't pick it in. That's when we start falling behind. The rain is what slows us down more than anything.
But because his grove is smaller, he's not feeling the effects of those conditions as much as other growers are.
The bigger check they got advanced big orders, and we don't. Ours is small orders.
Dale Merton from Texas Citrus Mutual says the holiday season is usually a really good marketing time for citrus.
We get a little anxious this time of year because this is peak activity for us.
But those less than ideal conditions that come with the cold fronts have slowed things down, and not in a good way.
Harvest is a little slow right now because of the wet conditions.
He says Cameron County has been especially slow.
I know my own grove around the Harlingen area was really wet. I'd had a couple inches of rain along with that snow.
Merton says they can't risk the trucks getting stuck and harvesters can't walk through the fields to inspect the trees.
And it's just tough getting back into the field. It's really slowed things down.
It's not just rain that's an issue. The dense fog we've been experiencing isn't just bad for driving conditions.
You don't like to pick moist, wet fruit. This fog of lately has been a little bit of an issue.
The fog doesn't allow for any early start to the day, and it's bad for the quality of the fruit.
Moist, wet, that's an issue again because we just can't get into the field and harvest and supply that market.
Merton says because the market demand is so strong this time of year, the on and off rain and cold fronts we've been experiencing can hurt them.
People are people. If they can't find what they're looking for, they're going to go to the next product on the shelf.
And with drier weather said to dominate the rest of the week, eliminating fog or any chance of rain,
we are getting back in the field again with this wind.
Merton has high hopes to keep the rest of the harvest season going strong. Merton says they are always on the lookout for weather changes that would slow the harvest down. They try to accommodate that by preparing for a slowdown in advance. In the studio, Cecilia Gutierrez, Channel 5 News at 6.
Now, one thing that has been looking up for Valley citrus growers is a lack of fruit flies this season. This is a Channel 5 News Extra. Dale Merton from the Texas Citrus Mutual says the number of fruit flies is down. He says the Valley is not under any quarantines with the fruit fly this season, and that's after at least 4 quarantines last year. The spraying can be a burden on citrus growers, costing them lots of time and money.
Growers like myself had to spray every 10 or 11 days if we had fruit on the trees, and knock on wood, luckily this year I have not had to do that.
Fruit flies can render a fruit useless by having their larvae get in the product. Growers attribute the lack of fruit flies to those same changes in the weather.